What the fuck? So I think everybody has heard the news, right? So Unity is basically fucking digging its own grave. And, you know, I'm quite happy about it. And you know why? Because Unity, although it's a really great software and it's a really great game developing software, and it has a lot of really great titles because indies are using Unity everywhere in the fucking earth. So although it's a really great software, I do not think it deserves it. Because what software will punish its users for being successful? What software will say that, okay, if you have 10 plus years of experience with our software, and then you are doing this on a professional level, maybe for a fucking living, even if it's indie, then you will owe us more money than before. What the fuck is this? And you know, the thing that fucks me up the most is Unity wasn't even free. Unity has a free profile. Unity have a free license that you can build your games with, right? Just like Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine isn't free either. Unreal Engine has a filmmaking license, which is not really relevant to this topic, but it also has like a game developer license thing that you and Unity, you and the Unreal Engine or Epic Games will sit together and like figure out a price for it, right? So it's going to be customized for you and your studio. However, Unity is basically saying that if you are not paying us monthly, then you will pay us for installs. Which is, if you think about it, a lot more than paying monthly. So is it free then? Now think about this. If you buy Unity Pro because you're confident in your team and you're confident that your game will generate money and income and profit, and then you can do that for a living, then you buy Unity Pro and then you won't be affected or not as much by this runtime fee. Here's the fucking thing. The indie devs are not confident in this. Indie devs are just a bunch of great programmers that have a vision and they want that vision to come to life. That's what fucking indie is. People who wants to make games try to make games. They don't fucking know if the game will be good, if the game will ever release, they don't know anything about this game. But if their game blows up, they can do that for a living. Then they made it, right? But no, here with Unity, no. You will have to pay more than you would have to pay with the Pro license or the Enterprise license or whatever the fuck that thing is called. So let's see the pricing here. Unity has a Pro, which is almost €2,000 a year, and I'm sorry for the dollar users here. And it has an Enterprise, which is basically, or industry, which is basically 5,000 per year. I thought it's less, but now it's 4,500 a year, which means then these options look really intimidating, but these options are better if it comes to a successful game than the student option. The student option, the hobbyist option, is fucking more expensive than the individual team or enterprise industry. Let's say you have a €40 game that you've been developing for 5 years. If you have the student, which you would if you or the basic Unity license, which you would if you are an independent indie studio or like an independent single dev, right? So you have it, you developed it for 5 years, you did not pay any license fees for the Unity engine, right? So you will have to pay, after 200,000 sales and revenue, you will have to pay $0.2, so 20 cents per download. So now I like look at it, what I wrote here. I said first install, and it's not true, because Unity says installs, and then it said then every first install maybe, which is like really depending on what first install. Is it a first install on the platform like Steam, or is it the first install on your hardware, or is it the first install on your IP address, or what the fuck is it, and how will they track it? So for simplicity, I would say that it's per copy, you could say, which is not true. It's going to be more, but I said it's per copy. So now after 800,000 downloads, which is not a bunch if your game blows up, then you will have to pay 600,000 multiplied by 20 cents, basically, which is 120k in royalty fees for Unity. So with a 40 euro game, and we're not calculating the Steam 30% off and Epic Games 12% off and things like this. We're just going to get, and the taxes, we're just going to get how much money you can make with a $40 game before every single platform is going to get the royalties, right? So this is before Steam getting their cut. This is before taxes being paid. So now with 800,000 downloads, you will generate 32 million USDs. This is before tax, before Steam, before every royalty. So here with this, you would have to pay 120k in royalties for Unity. As you can see, there is no specification whether it's less or more with 1 million downloads or more. It's consistently 20 cents, which means that you will, like, after 800,000 downloads with a 40 euro game that generates 32 million in revenue before the Steam shares and the Epic Games shares, you will have to pay 120k to Unity. Meanwhile, if you are using, I'm not calculating the download fee here, because if you look at the individual and the enterprise above 200, above the eligibility, then you would see, so if we are talking about this range, right, which is 3 cents, so and here it's 2 cents, so it's basically just a couple $1,000s that you will have to pay for these fees, which is really just not a big deal, right? But 20 cents is a big fucking deal, because now if you think about it, if you were using individuals, then you would have to pay 2,000 a month for 5 years. 2,000 a year for 5 years. That is 10,000 USD royalties to Unity just because you're using their engine. And after that, it's basically zero that you have to pay for the fees. So I would say it's even if it's like 10k, then you owe Unity 20k altogether in a 5-year period with the runtime fees at 32 million revenue at 800,000 downloads. 20 fucking k. I don't know the exact math. It's kind of around that. It's maybe less. With a student license, you own 120k. And if you were using the enterprise, it's kind of the same numbers. So what the fuck is this, Unity? You will have to pay more as a hobbyist or a student than a fucking industry? Like, tell me if I'm wrong here. Tell me if my math does not check out, right? Because I genuinely don't fucking understand that at this point. And now, here comes the biggest part. What if your game is not a full price game? What if your game is free? What if you're using the free model, which I'm telling you, more and more developers are using. A lot of the games, most of the games are on the free model nowadays. Like, think about the best, the top played games right fucking now. Think about Fall Guys. Think about a League of Legends TFT. Think about Hearthstone. Every game here is free because it has a free model. It has a battle pass. It has cosmetics. It has chibi characters that you can buy if you're a borderline Ido. So this is how they generate money. So keep that in mind. Let's get a mobile example. For example, let's go on Google Play. Let's scroll down maybe and have this Shadow Fight 3 RPG fighting. Okay, so this is a free. Wait, it's 100 million downloads. Oh my god, this is going to be so disturbing. So this game is free, so you can install it. So probably the way they're making their money is with ads. So certain moments, so certain times will trigger an ad in the game, and or maybe rewards are connected to these ads, and you watch them in order to get the rewards, and also maybe microtransactions. So here's the thing: if you download this game, then if it was made in Unity, and it made a $200,000 in revenue the last year, or the last 12 months, and also it has more than 200,000 downloads, which is it has because it's 100 million downloads, then Unity will charge them 20 cents. So why is this huge? Because for first, you can abuse this. You can just write a Python bot that on your screen presses the install button every single second. And I'm pretty sure that Google is not tracking what you install on your fucking phone. The Google Play is not checking that. So it's probably monitoring the APK download begins, which means whenever it triggers the APK to begin to download, right? And then it sends the data to Unity. Probably, I'm not sure, but I think that is how it works. So even if it works like you have to install the game, every single one of the programmers here that know Python just a little bit can do this as a homework. And we're not talking about, and we're not even talking about APIs. We're not even talking about virtual machines that you can also include here and like fuck little creators with bots that instantly like download. And I get it that you have blockers. Maybe you have blockers. Maybe you don't even know what a fucking blocker is. But still, it's a real big problem, because what if that blocker that just fails you, or you don't even have one? Then you're out of business. If someone decides that your game is going to, if your game is better not be on the market. So let's have this as an example. Free game with 100 mil downloads. It's 100 plus mil downloads, but I'm not going to bother getting the exact number. So if you have 100 mil downloads, then you would own Unity. So you would own Unity roughly 20 million USD for your free game with 100 mil downloads. That means in your game you will have you have to have people that are constantly buying cosmetics in order to pay this fucking fee. Right? What if you're not doing this for a living? What if you're doing this for a hobby? What if you're just making mobile games for fun and then you like to see people pay them? You're fucked. You will have to move on to another engine. And now, what does this mean? Let's say you have like microtransactions in your game, and let's pick a pretty cheap one. Like a little cosmetics is like $5. In order to get to 20 million, 4 million people would have to buy your $5 microtransactions out of 100 million downloads. 4 million. So 4% of the players would have to buy these microtransactions to break even. To break even. Like, guys, tell me if my math is wrong here, but I don't think it is. I think mobile game devs are fucked. Whoever wants to pay to create mobile games would have to buy the Unity licenses, because then it's going to be much cheaper. Let me tell you, if you're an indie dev, if you're just starting out, if you're just testing the water, you won't do, because you can't do it. And as a single dev myself, who is trying to get into game making, and I know that I wouldn't pay 2,000 USD a year for Unity or for Unreal Engine or for any other 3D software, because I can't afford it. I can't do it. I'm doing this in my fucking free time. If you want to create a game that has this free model, then you're fucked. Then you will have to fucking fill it with microtransactions and fill it with pay-to-win microtransactions, because you will need people. You will have to have people to buy your microtransactions and to generate revenue for you, to break even. And now, even if they backpedal, even if they say, okay, guys, it was just an April Fool's joke in fucking September, even if they do that, how can you trust a company after this? How can you say that, yes, Unity, okay, they did some stupid things, they were fucking drunk, or I don't know, they smoke a bit more than they should have. How can you say that after this, I'm gonna still put my trust in them? The moment we try to squeeze every penny out of game makers will be the end of game making, if it comes to indie. And you know, we had that era when people who had money could make games and films, for example. This is similar when you're, if I was into filmmaking, so this is kind of similar. If you would have to buy a camera that you use for filmmaking, it doesn't fucking provide you any magic. It doesn't provide you any skills. You would still have to learn how to use that camera. And you still would have to learn how to make great films. But when you buy that camera, you would have to pay a royalty fee for every single shot you take with that camera. And then also you would have to pay a royalty fee for every single person that watches your film. Like, now think about this. It's really fucking depressing. So now if you are working with Unity, like, think about it. Because we have a lot of free competitors that can also work in C++ and also have visual scripting and also have a big community that can help you. I get it. I get it that Unity is basically the best game engine if it comes to mobiles, because it has a lot of fucking assets that you can just drag and drop and customize. But Unreal Engine has to. It's less, it's worse, but they have it. And you won't have to go fucking broke if your game blows up. Godot, for example. Godot is a really great open source game engine that is going to be, not now, it's not on the level of Unity right now, obviously, but it's going to be on the level of Unity. And once it reaches that point where it's just not so much of a difference between the two engines, Unity will fucking die with this mentality. Unity, the engine will disappear. And the biggest damage that Unity did right now is not the paid runtime fee profiles. It's not that students are fucking and hobbyists are punished for making good games. It's not that. The worst thing Unity did is basically impacting blunt force trauma to the trust of developers. Because now how can you trust this engine? How can you trust this stuff? How can you trust this company who from Monday to Tuesday can say that, okay, we fundamentally changed the way we work? And I think we're gonna show them that you can't do anything you want. This is not EA anymore, and understands who understands. This is not EA anymore. You're not alone in this field. You have competitors. You can't do anything you want. You can't be greedy. You will just fucking bleed out. And you started bleeding right now. So what's your next move? Alright, well, this was a little depressing. Because I am depressed. I hate this whole thing. Because I love game making. I love indie devs. I love every single indie title. I hate the AAA mentality. I hate the microtransactions. I hate the fucking... squeezing every single fucking penny out of the player. I hate that. And now this is going to affect games that would want to maybe have a free profile without microtransactions, or maybe a free game. Because they would have to make some money with it. That's just fucking sad. That's just fucking sad. So yeah, devs that work in Unity, it's not too late. Like, I know it sucks to say that you have 7, 8, 10 years of experience in Unity. I have like 3 years experience in Unreal Engine, and I wouldn't fucking change the engine, because that's, for me, it's a lot of years of experience. And I don't know if I want to spend another 3 years or 4 years studying another engine to break even. But you gotta understand that the game engines are tools that you use to create your game with. They are not necessary. And if you know how to use Unity, then you know how to use Unreal Engine. And I'm telling you this because at first I was learning Unity, and the two is very similar. But Unity is strong where Unreal Engine isn't, and vice versa. Unreal Engine is really strong where Unity isn't, and it's just a choice of yours what kind of type of games you want to make, and that's why you choose that engine. And if you really care about your game, and you want to be the game to be successful without fucking selling your soul and having millions of microtransactions in it just to pay the fucking Unity runtime fee, then you really have to consider moving to another engine. And if you are afraid of Unreal Engine, or maybe you're not going to create like large scale worlds, which is Unreal Engine is basically what Unreal Engine is for, then you might want to try to move to Godot, because that's a really great engine too. We're waiting for the replies. Obviously, I'm really curious what Unity has to say. And if this is a snowball that is just started right now, maybe it is. Maybe, I don't fucking know. And I really want to see some big titles switching their engines. I really want to see that, because that would teach not only Unity, but every other game engine out there to respect their developers, because they are what they are because of their developers. Unity is big because of the Unity devs, not because of the fucking CEO, not because of the software being free. No, it's big because a lot of great and talented people wrote astonishing fucking games in Unity. That's why Unity is great, not because it's Unity. They gotta learn that lesson. And I'm really curious where this is going to lead. So, guys, having said that, I'm sorry that this was a little depressing video, but as I said, I'm fucking depressed if it comes to this topic, so I couldn't really help. But hey, if you're a Unity dev and you kind of want to switch to Unreal Engine, my channel is basically about Unreal Engine, so hey, why not stick around, look around, watch a video or two, maybe download Unreal Engine, maybe you can comment on this video, maybe you can go on my other videos and comment there for the algorithm. No, I'm just saying that consider moving. Not because Unity is bad engine, but because the CEO is so fucking greedy you can trust it. Goodbye.